It's good to know that people who have no representation and feel that they're forgotten have someone looking out for them. Amnesty's needed more today than it ever was. I did my time, and I wish somebody had spoken up for me when I was in there. In Germany, terrorist acts against the state. I was innocent, of course. Unfortunately, it was the British ambassador, and he brought me magazines that were 20-year-old, but I made it through. And it's a terrific organization, and I'm only too happy to be able to help out and contribute. No, when they first approached me, I said, I want to do, you got to serve somebody, because a friend of mine who's no longer in the world, years ago we were talking about Bob Dylan's catalog, and he said to me, if you ever get to do a Bob Dylan song, and I think it's one of Bob's best, because it leaves open the space for the musicians that are playing it to invent their own groove. In honor of Bo Diddley, as well as Amnesty International, I used the Bo Diddley riff on this song. I know he would appreciate that, and that's how the arrangement came about.
Might be an ambassador to England or France. You might like to gamble, you might like to dance. You might be the heavyweight champion of the world. Could be a socialite with a long string of pearls, but you gotta serve somebody. Serve somebody. Yeah, you gotta serve somebody. Serve somebody. It might be the devil, it might be the Lord, but you gotta serve somebody. You might be a rock and roller prancing on the stage. Might have money and drugs, women in a cage. You may be a business man or some Wall Street thief. They may call you doctor, or they may call you chief, but you gotta serve somebody. Serve somebody. Yeah, you gotta serve somebody. Serve somebody. It might be the devil, it might be the Lord, but you gotta serve somebody. You could be a state trooper, you might be a young Turk, you might be the head of some big TV network. You may be rich or poor, you may be blind or lame. Could be living in another country under an assumed name, but you gotta serve somebody. Serve somebody. Yeah, you gotta serve somebody. Serve somebody. It might be the devil, it might be the Lord, but you gotta serve somebody. You might be a construction worker, working on a home, maybe living in a mansion, maybe living in a dome. You may even own guns, you may even own tanks. Might be somebody landlord, may even own a bank, but you gotta serve somebody. Serve somebody. Serve somebody. Serve somebody. It might be the devil, it might be the Lord, but you gotta serve somebody. You may be a preacher with your own spiritual pride. You may be a city councilman taking bribes on the side. You may be working in a barbershop, you may even know how to cut hair. Maybe somebody's mistress, maybe somebody's au pair, but you gotta serve somebody. Serve somebody. Yeah, you gotta serve somebody. Serve somebody. It might be the devil, it might be the Lord, but you gotta serve somebody. Might like to wear cotton, might like to wear silk, might like to drink whiskey, might even like milk, may even like caviar. Soak it up with your bread. Maybe maybe sleeping on the floor or sleeping in a king-size bed, but you gotta serve somebody. Serve somebody. You gotta serve somebody. Yeah. Serve somebody. It might be the devil, it might be the Lord, but you gotta serve somebody. Yeah, you gotta serve somebody. You gotta lay your body and your soul down, way down to the ground. But you gotta be in the service of somebody. You gotta serve somebody. You gotta serve somebody. Yeah. Well, it might be the devil, it might be the Lord, but you gotta serve somebody. Ow.
It's a bit frightening to see that, you know, according to Google, I died when I was like 46, you know. He was in a band called War, and then it ended, and that was it, you know, and where is he? Nobody knows where he is. Well, maybe now I'm on Google, you'll figure out who I am and where I am.